Hi, this is Chris. It's already 3:30 a.m. I am currently in China, across the Hainan Island at, what is this, Leizhou, Zhanjiang, China. So I'm really tired, but I just want to discuss some things that actually happened today before I forget, because I will forget. So I'm renaming the ISTJ as Inspector. Logistician is still correct, but Inspector would be a good one. The main topic today is very quick, short. I'm an INFJ, my mom's an ISTJ, and we're traveling together in China, and we ran into some problems. I'm going to see if I can bring up what I wrote. I wrote some questions in the ISTJ form to guide me as well. So let me see if I can recall, because my recollections are a little off. Okay. Let me bring that up, probably best. Okay. So we had a series of mini fights, but man, my mom was stressed out, and she also felt like she came to visit me, but she's already feeling like she's like threatened, I want to go back home to the US because it's so stressful talking to you. So I'm trying to debug and decode what's going on. So first of all, I wrote that I feel like I'm constantly getting harassed by my mom's love of grammar and strict word usage. I use the word criticism, and ever since she landed, like a few days ago, she would tell me, hey, don't sit like that, or don't speak like that, or you're doing that, you're rude. Like when you're socializing with your friends, you can't do that. And you, oh, don't wear, like I have a pink backpack. Oh, why are you wearing so much pink? Like, so the colors I'm wearing, my word usage, the tone, like Chinese has tones, the tones are wrong. And so my mom would point out a lot of things that she feels that aren't right. And to me, that's criticism. But to her, that's only giving a comment. And her thought process is, I love you, so I'm telling you where I think you're not doing a good job. And I asked her, hey mom, for every bad thing you say about me, say one good thing. And she says, that's very difficult for me. Notice, Effie in the trickster function. She says she's not that kind of person. She says, if I say something about you that you're doing wrong, that's because everything I don't say, whatever I'm keeping silent about and not telling you you're doing wrong, that means you're doing a good job on it. So that was infuriating. What's interesting is she listed 20 different, like if we said 20 or 40 different, let's say she said 20 things I was doing not so well, or 20 things that she wants me to do differently. Like pink backpack is one, slouching on the left shoulder is the second one, or don't call it criticism, call it commenting. I would say that 15 of her points I agreed with, but I wanted to discuss the other 5 points that I didn't agree with. And this made her very, I just wanted to voice my opinions and be understood. I also want to understand her. I want to voice my opinions and be understood, and I also want to understand her opinions as well. So in different fields, because she's in the science major, studied electrical engineering, I studied history, we studied basically humanities. In the humanities, words have a lot of wordplay. There's a lot of words that can have different meanings in the humanities, but in the sciences, I guess they think that the words should have less flexibility, more specificity. So she claims that what she's doing cannot be called criticism. She says at work they call it positive feedback. For me, she can't not accept the word criticism has multiple definitions for different fields. For example, in art criticism or literary criticism, the word criticism has no negative connotation. I realize that she takes positive and negative connotations way too seriously. So whenever someone says something, she has a positive or negative connotation to that word, and she cannot reverse it. So like for me, when I look at the word criticism, I can see it in the negative connotation use or in the positive connotation use. So I'm able to see that a word can be used in different contexts by different people in different connotations at the same time. So criticism by me is more like art criticism. It's a neutral term. For her, criticism is a very negative connotation, and she cannot refuse to see it from other people's perspectives. Which I just heard Mongolian Mindset talk about the NE function for the vulnerable function. Actually, it means that he says not only do they do like it in others, but they seem to struggle or dislike it in themselves. Kind of interesting. I need to re-look at what Mongolian Mindset said. He had some great stuff when talking to Paul, Catholic gaming nerd. Very good ISTJ channel. I also wrote a weird INFJ versus ISTJ problem, looking for ISTJ to comment. So she's in her late 60s, and when she cannot recall what she says don't put words in her mouth. So she keeps using the same stock phrases like don't put words in her mouth. So for example, I was trying to be a loving son, planning the itinerary to include all the places she explicitly told me she wanted to go a year ago. So a year ago, she told me she wanted to go to 3 different places with a theme. So she basically said she wanted to go find our family ancestry, which includes Hainan Island, Wenchang, and then Fujian and Henan. And she also said that her coworkers mentioned a place near Hainan Island that's the place closest to Hainan Island that's in the mainland is called Leizhou Bandao. So she heard that there were rumors that people there, or she'd heard someone in work tell her that this place has people who speak the same language as her. So she got a little bit interested, and she expressed interest to go there. So this was a year ago. So to me, she explicitly told me she wanted to go there a year ago to track the migration path of our family's ancestors and through linguistic similarity. So later when we actually got to Leizhou, I have to write this. I'm reading what I wrote. So later we actually got to Leizhou. She asked me, is there anything to explore here? This happened today. It's almost like she forgot completely she told me she wanted to go here to talk to the locals and check dialects. I said we'll explore and find out. Then suddenly I said, hey mom, if you never told me about Leizhou, I wouldn't know this place's name. Then she suddenly got furious and she said she doesn't know the name Leizhou, and she only knew that someone, she said, ran into a business trip, said the place in China nearest Hainan Island speaks the same dialect. She was furiously trying to correct me, saying, don't you dare put words in my mouth. She was angry crazy that she was not the person who told me Leizhou's name. Like, what the hell? Because, like, my memory is not that good, so I don't actually remember things accurately. So I remember that she's the one who told me, because for example, so I remembered that she told me that she wanted to go here, but later on she told me no, she didn't want to go here. And then when we got here, she asked me, what's there to do here? And I thought, wait, aren't we here to talk to the locals and check the dialects like she suggested? And then when I said, hey, I didn't know about the name Leizhou if it wasn't for you, she got furious because she says that I was putting words in her mouth, because she says she doesn't know the name Leizhou. And she says that only a person told her specifically. So she was comparing what I said to her memory, which is very specifically stored and indexed, and she was furiously trying to correct me, saying, don't you dare put my words in my mouth. Because I saw that she was trying to compare something in her brain to what I was saying, and she said didn't see they matched, so she thought that I was lying. So actually I think their memory is indexing things differently than my memory. I think their memory is indexing things in a way that they get angry as F if you contradict their memory files or definition files. So I'm suspecting somehow SI has to do with memory and TE has to do with definitions of words. So basically, by having the hero function in SI, they have a very strong memory indexing file. And if you say something that differs from their indexing file, they'll feel like you're contradicting. You're making them look bad. I've heard that ISTPs say something similar like this: is that they're putting words in your mouth. So like, if I said, "Hey, Esther said this," and then she checks in her brain, SI, and says, "No, I did not say that," then she gets mad. TE is about definitions. So when you're talking about TE parent, she wants to responsibly use definitions. So I have TE in the trickster function, which makes me very, very non-objective with definitions. I think the definition of words are meaningless. They're basic. When I say meaningless, definitions of words are only tools to communicate ideas. That's the thing about NI. NI is about seeing the ideas behind the surface. So I think NI, the meaning, NI is meaning. Meaning is more important than TE definitions. But she has NI in her daemon function, so she actually has it flipped around. She actually values the definitions more than the meaning. So that is a weird thing. So what are the advantages of this? So for example, with my FE parent function, I can basically, and I actually do make friends with people of all walks in life. I made friends with a lot of people, and I'm able to see past, like, look, I've talked to people with broken grammar. I've talked to people with using definitions improperly. I frankly don't care what the definitions of the words are, of what they're saying. Especially, let's say I'm communicating in Chinese. I myself do not even know the definitions of many words. So when I'm communicating with other people, do I want other people to be strict about the definitions of words? No. I just want them to be focused on two things. What's the meaning I'm trying to commit, and what is my feeling? For example, my Chinese is not good, but I still have ideas to communicate, and I have a purpose, and I'm trying to understand why, and then FE is I'm trying to connect with people, and I'm trying to be genuine about trying to build a connection with people. So it's very much, communication has nothing to do with definitions. It has everything to do with building connections and transferring meaning between people. But I can see specifically that my mom does not actually value the transferring of meaning between people, specifically because this is, I think, highly linked. This is getting pretty crazy. I think it's actually quite linked with their FI and the tertiary function. Because basically, because they have defined things, the tree of good and knowledge is the power to define what is good and what is bad. And that's exactly what FI does. It defines what is good and what is bad. But in order to know what is good and bad, you have to define things with TE. And so the ISTJ has good memory, and their memory is able to comfortably define things with TE as good and bad. And when they define things so clearly as good and bad, they don't have the ability to see other perspectives that well, the NE. And so because they can't see things from different perspectives, they have hard times understanding other people. So that's going to make FE in the trickster function. Because for FE to actually be functional, you actually need to have some NE. Because NE basically, on some level, it seems you need some NE because, or FE and NE kind of go hand in hand, because FE is about building connections with people, and NE is about seeing perspectives. Meanwhile, the ISTJ criticizes the TE function, which means they are not okay with people coming up with their own definitions. Because TI represents basically coming up with your own definitions. So they're kind of stuck more in the past, SI, in their memory system, and they're not focused enough on the present. So their nemesis function, the SE, is being underused, because if they were paying more attention to the real life present, people don't care that much about all these definitions and these grammars that much, okay? However, we'll put this, the INFJ has very poor memory and is not in touch with present reality, which might actually lead them to need TI and NI to navigate the world. I would actually say NITI is kind of like my map for the world. It's like the map I build for the world to understand how to talk to people and how to deal with people. So the thing is, NITI is something that I'm constantly using to make sense of the world, a sense making. But because the ISTJ criticizes TI, they're literally criticizing how the INFJ makes sense of the world. And what's really bad is the ISTJ, who lacks in the nemesis function of SE, they actually admire the nemesis function. But the nemesis function is something specifically bad. The SE function is bad for the INFJ. So I constantly see in my travels that my mom is actually, she's not just criticizing for my TI, she's criticizing for my SE, and she's also criticizing for my SI. So actually, so this is funny. She criticizes my NI when I use it, my TI when I use it, because it doesn't match her SI TE file memory. Like SI is it match her memory? No. TE, does it match her definitions? No. And then she criticize my SE because she has as the NEMS function. She needs me to supply more SE, but I'm not capable of supplying enough SE to keep her enjoying the moment. So she's getting really stressed out. So my SE is not enough to actually supply SE in this relationship. So there's a lot of stress coming from both people we're not SE enough. And then my nemesis function, NE, is where I want to actually see more perspectives. I know I need to see more perspectives. I'm searching for more perspectives. I'm not good at getting more perspectives, but I like to get it from other people. But this is something that IST does not actually have a lot of, because they're vulnerable in the NE function, because they already have defined in their memory what they like and what they dislike. So they're not so clear on, they're not able to provide more than one perspective. The ISTJ has a very specific perspective that's colored by their child FI, which means that they overuse what they like and they dislike. So I overheard my mom using FI a lot. I don't like this. I hate this place. I don't want to be here. I hate China. They're smoking. It's like every time I go to China, it's a bad experience. These are all FI. That's a SI-FI loop. SI is memory. Memories. How did I experience China? FI is did I like it or dislike it? So it's about condemning. It's damning. It's SI-FI basically damns things as bad, or it says they're good, which is why I consider ISTJ as an expector. SI is looking at the details, and FI is making a judgment value on that. Now, realistically, the ISTJ uses the FI a lot. And the thing is, guess what? Our FI function is the critic function of the INFJ. And the critic function of the INFJ, they like to criticize when the INFJ uses FI. So the funny thing is the ISTJ loves to use the FI and say, I like this, I don't like this, I hate this, I love this. I love chocolate and I hate China. It's like what mom says. And I'm thinking, I'm criticizing her because I'm like, how can you hate China when that's literally where our family, that's like really, that's from where our ancestors come from. Like how can you go against your personal values? Like, how can you say something so stupid and insensitive? Especially, so that's where they're trickster blind FE. Because if you say you don't like China, many people are interpreting that as, well, you don't even like the Chinese people. You don't even like our own people. You don't care about our own people. So it's kind of like a social suicide to make these kind of comments. So I have to really thank everyone who's contributed to my understanding of the MBTI system and socionics and whatnot, because this is so crazy. I got to see this a lot. I'm going to read out a thing. I got a few more stories. Like, a lot of conflicts happen, micro conflicts. Honestly, I don't think they're important, but I think they're very important, the ISTJ. So what the problem is not, I don't have the problem with my mom. My mom has the problem with me more. Although I do prefer her not to be so much using FI, and I actually told my mom, you're the elder, we should follow your decision more. All right, so a few things that are funny. I went to the bathroom and I washed my hands at least like 10, 20 times because I couldn't wash it clean. This is a little bit too TMI. I used the bathroom and my hand had a smell. So I washed my hands 10, 20 times and the smell didn't go away. So I come back to see my mom and she sees soap on my hand and she says, go back and wash it. I go wash it and I come back and there's still some soap and she says, still some soap, and I go back and wash it. And the thing is, I told her, I can't even feel the difference between there being soap on my hand or there's no soap on my hand. And then that's so funny because she's like, what? How can you not feel the difference if there's soap or no soap on your hand? I think this has a lot to do with just low SE. And so I was going to explain, because I had a very good conversation. One of our friend's sons didn't really like me, but he'd never met me. Today I had a chance to talk to him. And the thing is, he talked to me about a lot of topics, Warcraft 3, StarCraft, board games. He talked to me about a lot of topics that other people could not handle. He was an INFP, and his name's Joshua. He used FI a lot. He was using FI-SI loop, because as an INFP, he was talking about what he liked, and he was talking about in detail about the past. So he's talking about a bunch of board games, but he explained clearly the rules of these games, and he really enjoyed it. And a lot of these board games had something to do with area control games. They had to do with kind of British English history, or kind of a game that had whales, and it's pretty cool board games. But the thing is, when he's FI-SI looping, both of his parents can't handle it at all. And my mom can't handle it at all. But I can handle it. And the reason why I can handle it, FI-SI loop, and I'm going to talk about two things, advantage of the INFJ, is because SE is in the vulnerable function, I am actually basically disconnected from my body. So when there's soap on my hand, I can't feel it. When we went to the hotel room and there's no air conditioning, I couldn't feel it. Like, when I say can't feel it, it's basically in extremely uncomfortable places where there's no air conditioning or bad smells. I'm not that bothered by it. If there's someone smoking in my face, it doesn't bother me. For my mom, she gets bothered so much. So when the hotel room was, the air conditioning was having problems, she was cranky. She was really complaining. Versus for me, I can actually disconnect myself from my body. Like, my body and my soul are more disconnected. And so, for example, when I am talking to the INFP and they're talking about things that have nothing to do with my past memory, SI is demon and SE is vulnerable. It means that it doesn't need, I can talk about things that are not in my past experience. So SI is not important to my conversation style. And then SE means that I'm not fully present where I'm like, oh, I'm hungry, or I need this or I need that. I can actually, when I'm talking, forget about all my needs, and I can focus on providing FE, supplying FE, and building the relationship. So I don't really need, and I can use FE and TI together to build a relationship and handle people's FI-SI. So can I handle the loop? Whereas the SI-FI loop is funny, because FI-SI loop and the SI-FI loop seem to be quite different. If you see the INFP, Joshua, he was talking about what he liked and about the past and its details. My mom, she's basically, the SI is about her memories. She assigns her memories are so clear about, she judges the memories on I like or I dislike. And the thing is, the INFP was overusing SI, talking too much about the past, where the ISTJ is talking too much about what they don't like. So that is a very interesting difference right here, if we can look at the looping. Okay, I'm going to read a longer version of what I'd written. I'm doing this pretty much to record for myself in the future, and maybe this could help other people, I hope. I got into the weirdest fight with my mom. We are traveling together. This fight has two parts. I'm drained, so if this question doesn't make sense, sorry. 1 year ago, I swear she told me she wanted to go to a place called Leizhou, the nearest place in mainland China next to Hainan Island. So this year I planned a trip to come here. 2, now in front of some of my high-status friends who asked, where are you going next? I said, oh, we're going to Leizhou. My mom told me she would like to go there because she wants to check if they speak the same dialect as her. I swear this is the truth. That means I thought this is the truth. She, my ICGA mom, scowls and says, I didn't say I want to go there. You want to go there. This is embarrassing in Chinese culture. When you're contradicting your own son in front of high-status people, it's not FE at all. It's bad because it lowers your own son's friends' trust in your own son, and it makes him look incompetent. In my version of events, she has lost memory of what has happened. She's in her late 60s, and she cannot recall what she said. But she insists, don't put words in her mouth. I was trying to be a loving son, planning the itinerary to include all the places she explicitly told me she wanted to go to a year ago, to track the migration path of our family's ancestors. Through linguistic similarity. 2, later when we actually got to Leizhou, she asked me, is there anything to explore here? It's almost like she forgot completely she told me she wanted to go here to talk to the locals and check dialects. I said we'll explore and find out. Then suddenly I said, "Hey mom, if you never told me about Leizhou, I wouldn't know this place's name." Then she got furious and said, "She doesn't know the name Leizhou. She only knew that someone she ran into on a business trip said the place in China nearest Hainan Island speaks the same dialect." She was fiercely trying to correct me, saying, "Don't you dare put words in my mouth." She was angry, crazy. She was not the person who told me Leizhou's names. Like, what the heck? Oh, I a little repeated myself, but I would also like to see what else happened. Ah, okay. So the INFJ SI demon means it's common for them to ignore the comfort of themselves. That's partially because FA, they're good at giving comfort to other people. And then when we're looking at, TE being blind. So I wanted to say something about this. So the reason why the ENTJ is an achiever is because TE focuses on achieving things that have legitimacy or that value to the society. So becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, doing something like getting a PhD, they're valued by the society. Now that means the ENTJ has a tendency to care about doing things that are cool. I talked to a friend before who wanted to play drums. He's like, "I want to learn how to play drums," and I asked him, recently I played the African drums. Are you interested in learning? And he said, "No, African drums are not cool enough." There's an interesting quadrant I wrote about this. Is where basically, in the minds of people, there are things that are cool and there are things that are not cool. There's clothing that's cool. There's hairstyles that are cool. There's colors that are cool. Like, so I have a pink backpack, and it's not cool by the society in China. That's why you don't see people wear it as guys. But the INFJ, being T blind, basically does not care about the achievements that the society considers valuable. It also does not care what's cool because they're basically tied. So why do a lot of people are not willing to be a plumber even though a plumber can make a job? It's because a plumber is actually considered not cool. It's not considered an achievement. Becoming a plumber is actually considered a failure by many people because they consider that if you had a high education, you would have done something much more meaningful. Blue collar work, in many cases, is not considered as a high achieving job. So actually, a lot of people will always have opportunities to become rich because a lot of the most wealthy, money making jobs people don't want to touch. They think it's like untouchable because it's not cool enough. So the INFJ, and I had an ENTP friend who has the TE and the critic function. He criticized my career because basically in my career, I'm using an example, but a real example. So for example, I want to study, part of my career is I want to study more psychology and learn about like typology. And so for my ESD friend who graduated from a top school, ENTP friend, he basically said he is only interested in researching and studying things that have a high percentage chance of success. So he's very much in AI. He invested a lot in AI stocks. And he says that if you put your time and energy to invest in something that has a track record of being questionable, like the MBTI is questionable, psychology is questionable, he says it's not worth it. He wants to do things that are not questionable. He wants to do things that are everyone considers cool. Everyone considers AI cool, so he wants to go there. So this is something that I thought was really interesting because he's at a high he graduated with a degree in computer science. He's very interested in he went to top school, and his idea is he's only willing to basically do something that has a high chance of success, and he actually cares a lot about whether something is considered like he's like, if I had to do research in AI, like, or something that's not AI, let's say AI is hot right now. If I do 100 hours of research in AI, it will be considered an achievement. If you do 100 hours of research into typology, it may not give you any benefit, so it's a highly risky proposition. So he would consider not willing to do the risky kind of research. Now, this is where I realized there's another type of opportunity open to people like myself. It's because I don't care about TE. I don't care about what the society considers cool. I don't care about what their public achievements are. I want to do something meaningful with the NI. I want to do something meaningful, not so, I think it's weird. Like if if 20 people became lawyers and they were all Stanford lawyers, I think it's really weird to want to become something other people already are. Because, like, if you got 20 people are Stanford lawyers and I'm the 21st Stanford lawyer, why don't I just do something that's new with my life and bring something new into society? Why would I want to do something that other people already done? What does it prove? What does it prove if I become the 55th doctor? To me, I have the mindset of I want to do something carve a brand new path and do something that's meaningful with my life that only I can do, something like that. Do something that is like that. So my friend's mindset is more about you have a lot of fields to choose. Which one will give you the most bang for your buck? What do you do is cool. It will attract more, it has higher salary. Higher salary will attract more beautiful women. More beautiful women will also, I'm not saying he said this, but well, you can buy more houses. You can live more comfortably. You can have more vacations. You can have more leisure time. You can take better care of your family. So the achievements have these kind of advantages, right? But for me, I'm actually more focused on where can I make where can I make progress where no one has made progress before. So I'm not scared of something that's not cool. So for example, MBTI, my friend did not even want to learn, no matter how smart he is, no matter how good our friendship is, he didn't even care to learn anything about MBTI because it doesn't have the legitimacy. It's not even considered legitimate. It's not even considered cool. So it's like not worth even looking into. He just wants to look at things that have been properly accepted and been verified. Otherwise, it's wasting your time. He's afraid that you could waste a lot of your time. Versus, I treat all knowledge as incomplete. So I don't really care whether it's verified or not. I want to expand my understanding in all directions, and especially in these directions I find most meaningful. And human psychology and typology are very meaningful because they can help me, they can help other people, and I don't care how risky it is, and I don't care how cool it is. I don't care. So that means that I'm more of a trailblazer. I can actually be like, I can push and I can advance things that are risky. I could go into fields that other people would perhaps not have the risk tolerance, or maybe they don't have the vision, because NI is also about long-term vision. So NI has the long-term vision, whereas T is actually not caring about the achievement and what it means to the society. And what's also interesting is because the ISTJs, at least the ISTJs I know, they don't really diverge from the known path. So like T in the parent function also means that ISTJs tend to be very excellent people, hardworking people, tend to have some level of achievement. But one of the things we kind of notice is they don't do the risky things. They basically do things that are much more, or they rarely do risky things. They're much more interested in doing something that makes sense, and it's a path that has already been proven. They do care about stability, they do care about comfort, they do care about living a good life. They don't want life to be too complex. They don't want to live life on hard mode. Life is already hard enough. They just want to make it more simple. But the INFJ says, because FE is so high, life is hard. How can I make life better for other people? I'm willing to make my life harder for me if it can make life better for other people. That's the vision to make life better, and FE is life to make better for other people. And SI in the 8th function means I don't care if it's comfortable, and then T in the 7th function means I don't care if it's cool, and then critic FI, I don't even care whether I like it or I don't like it. If it's going to be good for the collective long term, and I long term FE collective, then it's worth it. And any nemesis is I'm searching for new perspectives that can help me on this NI goal, and FE means I'm willing to search for perspectives from other people. And 4th vulnerable function is I myself may not be very good at being focused on the present, and I might even be a little bit critical of being focused on the present. But actually, I really admire people who are very in the present, in the moment, and locked in. And TI child, it means I'm basically theory crafting and overusing theory and trying to understand the world and clarity seeking. And so I might, even as a feeler, I'm the thinking feeler. So as a druid type, the TI subtype INFJ, basically I spend more time thinking in my head. And one of the things I realize is, the ISTJ, from what I understand, they like to actually do things. They don't really like to talk. They don't really like to theory craft. They don't like TI. They like experiences. So if my mom likes chocolate, if she had a choice between eat a chocolate or ice cream, or do something that we eat a chocolate or talk about my deep ideas on MBTI, well, she's not interested, especially because she has FE in the trickster function. So FE in the trickster function means she doesn't really value. Mongolian mindset says the trickster function doesn't have, it's about processing speed, and it's about depth. How much depth do they have? The trickster function has low depth and low processing speed, so their ability to understand FE is bad. So it's like MBTI doesn't make sense to an ISTJ, because to most ISTJs, because the whole main point of MBTI is to build closer relationships, FE, and it's to actually TI. It's a TI way of getting FE. It's building an understanding of the world to get FE. And INTP has TI in the dominant function, FE in the fourth function. So they crave FE and connection with other people, and they are good at building theoretical frameworks. So an INTP building this kind of system is perfect. And me as an INFJ, I value TI. It's my child function, so I really get along with INTPs. And of course, I enjoy socionics and these works. Oh, I must say, socionics is from an INTP. And I hope we didn't get to cover everything that happened today, but I really hope that to see you guys more in the future. These are not really lectures. I do want to become good at lecturing, but you know what? There's got to be a difference. Like, lecturing might be better prepared, better notes, and getting it really systematized and efficient in the time plate. I want to start building my knowledge and practicing expressing myself and explaining. I have a lot of experience, and I have not been gifted with the best memory, but I have some ability to finally see the patterns and the underlying meanings. So I want to say thank you, God, for that ability, and God bless. Take care.